came
where
from.
it was brewing from.
Yeah.
And how's the artificial leg?
Now, it's funny watching that clip,
Yes.
because obviously it wasn't a wide shot, but that was me dancing, doing a moonwalk one-legged. Because I said to the director at the time, I said, you do realise that Paul's only got one leg and you want him to dance? I said, watch this, I'll make it work. It was funny on
So do you have to, I suppose you have to remember to limp?
Yeah. Well, I actually got, and I take my hat off to everybody, the real amputees out there of the world, and I have great admiration for you for what you do, because I've actually learnt an awful lot. One of the biggest things was, and it's funny you say about the limping, because people say to me, oh, did you forget to limp that day? And I say, no, actually, it's not a case of forgetting to limp. And I now actually wear a brace so that it keeps my leg completely rigid to make it look like an artificial leg. But yeah, I'd actually watched amputees, and the people, particularly who had a limb removed for a long time, they actually, some of them you can't even tell that they've got an artificial
we were
leg.
talking earlier on, just as you sat down, about the fact that I lived in New Zealand for 4 years, and there was a rock and roll star in New Zealand called Tom Sharplin.
Yes. Yeah.
And Tom Sharplin was an amputee, and nobody knew. It was sort of one of those sort of secrets in the country that Tom Sharplin had lost his leg, and here was this rock and roller danced on stage, live performances. Nobody had a clue.
Yeah. Well, the one that turned me around, I was actually flying back from Britain one time, and I saw a girl. She was only about 18 or 20 or something, and she had a prosthetic leg. No way you would have been able to tell, other than the fact that she had hot pants on.
Yeah.
She just walked
Wow,
completely
good for
normal.
her.
Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic?
And I saw a guy the other day walking down the street, and he had 2 artificial legs. And he was just striding along.
No, and it's terrific that because of our, I don't know, the human desire, there's something that's hardwired from when we were cavemen to look at people who are different, is disappearing all the time, and we're much more interested in seeing who the person is rather than anything physical.
But the chap that I was talking about that had the 2 artificial legs, I was walking down the street, I had my 2 young sons with me, and of course they're like 3 and 7 there.
Yeah.
But what they were fascinated that he had these metal legs, fake legs. But just, they wanted to know more about him, as you say, how he walked, and was it easy, and all of that. And he was actually asking quite intelligent questions.
Yes. Well, and also people don't mind if they have a disability, and people ask them directly or politely, rather than gawping and wanting to take pictures and saying
about the elephant in the room.
Exactly. Yeah. Very good.
So you've flown over for the Soap Awards, which record on Saturday, and they go out on Wednesday, on the 13th. And this is sort of really straight in and straight back out again.
Certainly
You're
is.
filming again on Tuesday.
Filming on Tuesday. I flew in this morning.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I arrived here about 7 o'clock this morning.
You look better than you have a right to.
And it's all this Botox stuff. Yeah, and I work today, I work tomorrow, Saturday night, jump on a plane on Sunday, and get back Monday and start work on Tuesday.
That's amazing. You talked about that gap you had as well in the middle of the run. You were in the first episode. You're now the longest-serving character in 1985 to current day and beyond. A 10, 12-year gap in the middle. So when you go back, having been such an iconic figure, I suppose in your mind's eye, things haven't have changed. You picture it as it was, but if you go back 12 years later, there's all these other characters, all these other stories, all those other friendships on and off set, and you think, oh, actually, am I a stranger on my own street? That's
exactly it. It was like I walked into the studio, and oddly enough, all the crew, I knew all the crew, bar a couple, and it was old home week there. But when I walked into the green rooms, I didn't know anybody. I knew Alan Fletcher, and I knew Smithy, Iam Smith.
Yes.
That was it. And bless Smithy, he just sort of, took me under his wing. He said, come on, Steph, you're fine.
And he's just left, Harold, of course,
He's just left.
He?
He's retired fully now, Yeah, he probably did.
He's going to be missed. He will be.
Very sad. And what was a shame was we just had our big television awards last Saturday.
Yes.
And he was up for the Golden Logie, which is the television award of the year. And it's such a shame. He just got pipped by Rebecca Gibney, but...
Oh, what a shame.
And you, as a cast also, I suppose if you work together, you know each other so well, you know the community so well, you know the district so well, that you all did club together in the major fires, the bushfires that happened recently. You all clubbed together.
Absolutely horrifically tragic. That's happened in February over there. Well, I live very, very close by. I was saying to you before, we actually had to evacuate 3 times.
From your house?
From our house, yeah. I mean, and as I said on the night, we did I actually did a rock and roll gig that night to raise some money, and I was just talking to the audience beforehand, and I said that the really sad thing is and what people don't realise is I evacuated with my family, but when it was safe, we went back the next day. Our house and all our possessions were still there. But for these people that are evacuated and they go back, well, they weren't allowed back for months, but when they eventually were, they went back to a pile of ash. And it's people don't realise the devastation of that. And also the loss of life. I mean, there's nearly 200 people.
Extraordinary,
yeah.
ghastly.
It's one of the most horrific disasters in Australian history.
And you're saying that you did a bit of a musical performance there.
Yeah.
So you are still you're still on the road. Or,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's the first time I haven't sung live. I haven't done live gigs for 18 years, and I actually took over. I was filling in for Alan Fletcher because he does the rock gig at the Backpackers night on Monday nights, and he was over here doing a show. And he said, "Steph, would you fill in?" And dare I say, without putting tickets on myself, it was so popular that they've asked me to carry on. So once a week I'm doing the rock and roll gig.
So it was worth it giving up the chefing then, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, but of course you won't get away with it today. You're going to come and do a bit of chefing with us, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And before you do a bit of chefing, we just have a bit of a game here.
Oh no!
Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
I mean, this is our very own Neighbours quiz. It's time to play. Name that neighbour. So we'll just ask you a handful of questions here, see how you do. Have you played this version before?
No, I played the other one, which is, I think, the earlier version of that.
OK. Well, this is a nice and easy first question. On which channel was Neighbours first screened in the UK?
Channel 7. Oh, sorry,
in the UK?
BBC, I'm sorry.
Yes, BBC One, correct.
Australia, yeah.
What is the real address of Ramsay Street?
Well, it's Pinot Court in Vermont South.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Why did Scott and
yesterday.
Charlene move to Queensland?
Oh, there's a good question, because it was something to do with a job offer. I know they got in their car and drove up there. I remember sending them off.
No, I can't give you that. Charlene's grandparents bought a house in Brisbane.
Oh, something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's a tough one. Who shot Paul Robinson?
Terry,
You're quite right, but which wife was she?
first.
Oh, yeah, good.
What was the name of Lucy Robinson's first dog?
Basil.
Yes, well done.
I know, because I trained him. Well, my wife did, actually. Seriously, trained the dog.
She
that
was
played
your
Basil.
wife in real life.
Yeah,
Your life
yeah,
in real life.
yeah.
How did Paul Robinson know that his wife Christina was in labour?
Because she had a very large...
Ooh! Now this is good. You see,
It was,
your
we
wife.
were driving somewhere, and I just remember that we went to the hospital in an ice cream van.
That's probably true, but it was because your wife Christina's
Yeah.
twin sister Caroline, with whom you were having an unseemly ding-dong, was feeling the labour pains.
Oh, OK, I don't remember that bit.
There you are.
You got 5
Remember
right.
having it off with the sister.
Fair enough.
5 correct. Well
Okay.
done. Very
Thank
good.
you.
And as Fern said, you're gonna do a bit of cooking with us in a moment.
Lovely.
Yeah. Terrific.